Hello. I like to do a really flashy entrance. Hello and welcome everyone to SPF25 Toronto, hosted by CBC Radio-Canada. This year marks our 10th anniversary and we couldn't be more thrilled to celebrate it with all of you here today. The Ripple Effect, this year's theme, celebrates the work accomplished in the last decade since SPF was founded by Zena Harris, and it also acknowledges the work ahead. The good news is our tools, knowledge, and data sets have never been more precise or practical. You'll notice there's not a lot of mobile power here. Well, that's because everything is on set. So yay, we're making progress. And we persevere. Because finding the next low-carbon solution brings us hope and presents opportunities for industry transformation. Today is all about connection, dialogue, and bringing together industry leaders, innovators, and filmmakers to share practical solutions that prove that entertainment can be both climate smart and creatively bold. We'd like to thank our lead partners, CBC Radio-Canada, Ontario Green Screen, Telefilm Canada, DGC National, and GreenSpark Group. With your unwavering support, we can move the needle together. Okay, we're gonna do some polls throughout the day. So we're gonna do a little test question. So, how did you get here today? Did you ride your bike, take transit, drive, or walk? Just let us know by scanning the QR code and filling in your answer. This is the one moment when you get to have a phone. And by the way, please make sure your notifications are turned off. So oh wait, where is the QR code? Here it is. Scan this QR code. Or you can join us at menti.com by using that number. You do not have to download an app. And then tell us how you got here. Ooh, lots of people walk, car share, amazing. Personal vehicle, TTC. Love the TTC. Awesome. Cool, keep it going. So we're gonna ask questions throughout the day because we wanna hear from you. We're here together. All right, looks like we've got that going. Before we begin, I'd like to acknowledge that the land we're on is the dish with one spoon territory, the traditional land of the Mississaugas of the Credit, the Anishinaabe, the Chippewa, the Haudenosaunee, and the Wendat peoples. Today, it's home to many diverse First Nations, Inuit, and Métis communities. We are privileged to live, work, and gather here, and as allies in the fight against climate change, we honor the Indigenous peoples who have safeguarded this land for generations. Now it is my distinct pleasure to welcome Amy Desjarlais, who will set the tone today with a welcoming. Amy, the stage is yours.
Minogajab. Good morning, everybody. Oh, let's try that again. Good morning, everybody. Good morning. That's better. It looks like I've got to update my photo. It's been a couple years. Minogajab, Waabaakaakakzhe, zhaashkeezhgokwe Indigenous, Wasauksing Adonjba, Amikdodem, Ojibway, Potowotomi, and Acknowledgements and Dao. Ndoa Bejikwis Misquamazon Shinkazo, Opchigo and Gichinendum, Mampioma, Nungwa, Gajeb, Miwe. So that was some Anishinaabe Moen for you. I just introduced myself in Anishinaabe Moen, a traditional introduction. Often used in the ceremony or in community when we're sharing. And one of the greetings that we use is Bonjour. It's a traditional greeting, more formal. If you come to community, often the elders would acknowledge us that way. But one of the less formal is Ani. So I am really happy to be here today. I am excited to share with you and just a little bit about like how to ground. And I was offered tobacco. So that land acknowledgement that was shared is really important. It's about recognizing and acknowledging not only the people that were here since time immemorial, but also the land and all that comes from the land, right? All the plants and animals, the flying nations and the tree nations, all of those beings can survive because they've understood and learned how to get along with one another, right? Humans have a little bit of a ways to go on how to work together in peace and harmony, like friends. And unlike some of the teachings we've learned, that we're not at the top, we're in the hierarchy of like need, right? We're at the bottom. Because without all of those things that are growing and that have learned how to collaborate in harmony, we wouldn't be here, right? All of the plants and animals doing the things that they've been asked to do from creators since time immemorial. If humans just disappeared one day, they would all be fine. They've got it figured out. And so part of being here to do these openings is to give those reminders and those acknowledgements to those beings. And how I usually do that is with prayer. How many here pray or talk to some kind of higher being or your higher self? Some hands. Okay. All right, we're getting there. So this is about being intentional with the way that we live. And it's hopeful. You guys have been doing this for 10 years now, so it gives me a little bit of hope that we're trying to get there, right? And so let me offer my prayers in song. Opening songs are helpful to set the stage, but this song is going to you and your energy, your spirit, your higher self, to talk about what you're going to be and do in this life, right? What is it going to be like for you? It's talking about that we're going to be kind to ourselves. It's talking about that we're going to listen to those original instructions about how to live and work here in harmony and with all the living beings, right? So that we're not taking too much and we're giving back to creation. miigwech. Have a great day and learn lots of things about how to be better friends with the earth. Miigwech.
Thank you, Amy, for setting the tone for our journey together today. Now it's my pleasure to introduce you to our hosts for today, Lindura, actress, Dr. Toni, family doctor. Together, they are co-founders of Plasticfree Toronto. Give it up for Lynn and Toni.
Hello, everybody. I am Lindura. This is my sister Toni. Before all of you ask us, no, we are not twins. But I'd love to get to know you guys a little bit before we start. How many of you in the audience would consider yourself filmmakers? Quite a few. Storytellers? Even more. Business people? Hey, we need you. How about film lovers?
Everyone with a hand.
Yeah, good.
Or every hand in the room, rather.
Every hand in the room. Well, I thank all of you for being here today with us to shift the way that we do things. This is important work, and I'm excited to do it with all of you here today. And I have a special thank you for the filmmakers in the room, because you all changed my life, truly. Well, it was a film. The film was Lord of the Rings, obviously. No, but seriously. We are standing here today because on a fine spring autumn day, I don't know what season it was, back in 2018, I was bored. And I do what most of us do when we are bored. I flicked on the television, spent an hour scrolling, trying to find something to watch, and then went back to the original thing that Netflix suggested, which was a documentary called A Plastic Ocean. Has anyone in the room seen it? A few. Okay, so maybe you'll have sympathy for me as I describe this, but in under 90 minutes, that documentary changed my life. And you probably think it's because of all of the things that I learned, because that's what documentaries are for. And I did learn quite a bit. I learned that there are people overseas who are living in mountains of our trash, because it's easier for us to ship it there than to deal with it here. I learned that a film, such as like the size of the Barbie film, for example, can generate as much emissions as it takes to power 656 homes for a year. And I went on to learn also that there's oceans full of plastic that only represent 70% of the total plastic that might be there. So for example, there's a garbage patch the size of France floating in the ocean. And all of these things that I know that you might know, because we all know that climate change is bad and it's happening, that's still not what really changed my life. What actually shifted something in me was feeling everything so deeply as I watched a movie, something so simple. It was like the seeing seals with their necks tangled in fishing gear, just trying to escape. It was the feeling of grief, watching ecosystems die. It was the feeling of guilt that I think a lot of us feel as soon as we recognize that we have privilege. But then it was also the feeling of joy, watching people work collaboratively together to do something about all of this. And it was the feeling of home that I felt in hearing other people's stories that I otherwise probably wouldn't have heard. And it was feeling it all so deeply, all of these like horrifying emotions that we try to avoid, that allowed me to also feel deeply the hope and the determination to do something. And that's when my sister came home and found me crying. To this day, I haven't finished Plastic Ocean because it was too much. And we decided to try to not use plastic for 30 days. We failed epically. It's not easy being green, as Kermit the Frog says. So through that experience, we were able to build a community of people that was willing to be inspired, that was willing to feel, that was willing to take action on all of the issues and injustices that we see around us today that are all interconnected. And one of the things that we love to do with people still to this day is organize watch parties, because stories are so powerful. One of the films we watched was called Albatross, and I will never forget a quote from that film, which is, I think, really relevant to this event and to all of our lives today. And it's, do we have the courage to allow ourselves to feel so deeply that it transforms us and our futures? And I think with a lot of artists in the room, with a lot of business people helping out all of the artists in the room, I think that's our superpower, is that we are able, through art, to allow people to feel things deeply. So I thank you all for being here.
The theme of today's event is the ripple effect. And one of the reasons why I'm so excited to be here with you all today is that, unlike a lot of the environmental spaces we find ourselves in, today we're not just talking about individual impact and individual actions, which are great, but we are talking about changing a whole industry today. So we are going to be talking about recycling set designs, about making more circular choices during productions. We're going to be talking about greening crews. We're going to be talking about green storytelling and the power that has to shift the way that people think, the way that people imagine. And then all of you will go from here today and you'll go back into your real lives, back to your film sets and your TV productions, and you will have an opportunity to practice what it is that we are doing here today. And I think there's something so unique about the film and TV industry, so I'm so excited about this event, because film and TV productions are these wonderful, weird little microcosms of reality where you all come together, people you know, some you don't know, some you love, some you love to hate, and you all work really intensely and you work really collaboratively for periods of days or months or weeks or whatever it is to build something new. And imagine if we take sustainability and circularity and we stick it into these wonderful environments, and then all of a sudden what we have is a group of people together practicing how to be in community differently. So how to relate to each other differently, how to relate to the earth differently, how to vision collectively, how to implement collectively, and perhaps most importantly, how to bring the people along who are maybe hesitant or resistant or not as excited as we all are along for the journey. And these are the skills that we need to transform our worlds today. It's 2025. The time is now. And you add to this the wonderful power that you have as film and television industry, not just to practice green realities in your everyday work, but also to then tell stories that can shift cultural norms, that can inspire action, that can literally change what people think is even possible. And I hope that what you'll see is that we're not only creating a ripple effect, but as we do this more and more over the past 10 years, we're creating a tsunami. And the tsunami is going to change the film and TV industry, definitely. More importantly, it's going to change the world. And so we're so excited to be here with you all today. And we're going to hear from some amazing people that we've gathered today in order to turn insights and knowledge into meaningful action. And so a bit of orientation and housekeeping just before we dive in. So workshops are going to be taking place in conference rooms A and B, which are off to the left here through the doors over there. And then there are industry meet and greet round tables, which are off to the right. And then the Re-Scene Lounge, which is in the lower atrium. And you can scan the QR code that is on screen. Oh yes, there you go. To view today's full schedule, as well as connect with speakers and partners.
And don't miss out on the Clean Energy Showcase. Just outside of the front doors, we have EVs and a solar trailer by Driving Force and Krypton Rental Group. Please also connect with all of our many vendors you see lining the walls of this room and partners at the main stage, and as well down at the atrium in the Re-Scene Lounge. For full information about accessibility or any other questions you might have, please reach out to one of our volunteers, one of our staff, the two of us. We're good at finding things out. And I'll hand it up to you.
And a very warm welcome to our student delegations and supporters of the education program, co-sponsored by Telefilm Canada and Krypton Rental Group, Canadian Film Centre, Humber Polytechnic, and Durham College. We are delighted to have a talented film crew from Humber Polytechnic joining us today, and they are eager to hear your thoughts and perspectives on sustainability for their project. If you're interested in being interviewed, please seek them out and help them bring their vision to life. Welcome.
If you happen to capture any moments, please tag #SPF25 and at Sustainable Production Forum on whatever platform you're using. It's going to be a very busy day.